Hey, hey, hey. It's the Pacific Northwest Geek here, Echo Zero. Tired eyes and all. And I want to talk to you about Day of the Dead. Namely, the 2021 SyFy channel series of the same name, which the sea shares the same name, has the undead in it, has some of the characters, like there's a Dr. Logan, there's a Sarah, there's a Rhodes. That's about pretty much it has to do with Day of the Dead. But much like the two remakes and the unofficial sequel slash prequel, Continuum, Day of the Dead Continuum or whatever it's called, it too takes a shit on this movie. Now let's go back to the third movie in Romero's, George A. Romero's zombie, undead, whatever you want to call it, saga. You had, of course, Night of the Living Dead in, what, 68? 68, 69? Dawn of the Dead in 78, and in 1985, Day of the Dead. Now, I initially wasn't that big of a fan of this movie. I mean, I'm a fan of Romero's zombie movies, but I really didn't really care for this too much. But after seeing Day of the Dead 2, which is an unofficial sequel slash prequel that, much like the TV show, only shares the name Day of the Dead and has zombies in it, but it really has no other solid link to that series. I mean, to that movie, to this movie. Now, eventually, we would get a remake with Vin Rhames, who was also in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, in which the zombies are really flammable. You light them up and boom. It's an okay movie. My favorite aspect, other than watching the zombies just go like that when you set them on fire, is you can tell when somebody was about to turn, because they'd be sitting there and all of a sudden they'd get quiet and wouldn't move. They'd be like this, and then the eyes would get like milk white or something, and boom, they're on the way.
Get off the couch.
Of the two remakes, it's my favorite. You got another one which had this whole thing about Bub, because Bub was a zombie in this. It was the main zombie in this. You got Bub, and that one is an asshole and a stalker of the main female lead. Did not care for it. Now, when I first started hearing about the TV show, I was seeing some outrage. And so I saw the trailer and I wasn't too sure. And I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and it was terrible. I mean, it's just, you got a small town, and I guess the drilling or mining or whatever, and they find a zombie or something that's been imprisoned underground, and this police officer who, I guess he's got a strained relationship with his son, who, by the way, you see the police officer when you first see him, the detective, in the first episode, he's got this coat on and it's got the name Bub.
That's my dad.
I was like, oh. So that's how we're getting Bub in the TV show. Well, without this zombie thing coming in contact with, seems with anything else, the dead start to come back to life. The mayor who's running for office, is like a gun nut, and she wants her husband to carry around a gun. She wears the pants in the family. Her husband is this basically. It's like, oh honey, please honey, we don't need guns. She's like, oh, right to carry.
Jesus Christ, Trey. One of the cornerstones of my campaign is open carry. You need to be carrying in the open.
And her son just basically wants to go and steal alcohol, but he's like the father, he's terrified of the mother. You got the rich guy who, some guy who wants to marry some rich girl who basically pushes him around because he wants to wait for his parents, his mother to show up. But she's like, no, we gotta get married. Screw your mother. And he's like, yes, sweetie. You got the nursing home, and I really couldn't get into it. And why? Why do they feel the need to take a shit for tactically the fourth time? Well, I'll say the third time because, again, I did like the first remake, but it's like they're taking a shit on this movie. Why? Why do they feel the need to do that? Is it because this movie was originally supposed to be 1985? I believe they said $7 million. That's what they wanted to spend, what Romero wanted to spend to make this. Now, $7 million today and make it a major movie, because this was a... Who did this? Whatever studio did this, was gonna be a major studio was probably doing it, but let's look up, see what studio did the original Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead, 1985. I know I should have checked this out. Let's see here. It's Laurel Entertainment. They've been around since what, the 70s or some shit. They did Dawn of the Dead. Now, apparently they were supposed to he wanted $7 million to make this movie. And it was gonna be like the Gone by the Wind of the zombie movies. But they cut his budget in half, so he had to cut a lot of stuff. The movie, though, still stands up on its own. Basically follows this group of individuals. There's some scientists, some soldiers, a helicopter pilot, and a guy who does communications, who are like in the underground, like this mine type deal. And the zombies are above. They pretty much have fucked everything up. And the strain of everything is taking a toll. And you're watching as it takes a toll on these individuals. Like Sarah's boyfriend, Miguel, he's like... he's losing it. Rhodes, the asshole who's now in charge of the soldiers, is a complete asshole. Logan's like fruity. Dr. Logan, and he's using the soldiers' dead bodies to bring them back as zombies to experiment on them or to feed them to Bub, who is this zombie he seems to have domesticated. All climbing in when Miguel, who loses his arm, because he gets bit and Sarah cuts it off. He ends up basically letting all the zombies in, gets killed, and the zombies reign free. Rhodes kills Logan. Bub finds Logan's body, gets a gun. And, we had seen Big Daddy from Land of the Dead show some intelligence. Well, we kind of we look at it, going back to tonight, when we saw the zombie pick up the rock and bash the window in. There was a little bit of intelligence there. We saw a little bit more in Dawn. Bub was when we saw that first, general, boom. He knew how to use a gun to shoot him. He knew, hey, it's a razor. You shave. When he picks up the phone and Logan tells him to say hello, Aunt Lisa, and he's like, oh, you,
Hello, Aunt Alicia. Hello.
So it's like, holy shit, okay, you got some intelligent zombies here. Well, some brain material still works. And that's something we saw later with Big Daddy in Land of the Dead. But still, they took a shit. They've been taking shits on this. I'm trying to watch the Day of the Dead show, just for the hell of it. And there's been TV shows that are basically based on, or continuations in some cases, of a horror franchise. We had seen Freddy's Nightmares, which was an anthology type show where Freddy would host a different story. I think it was a couple of them. And he actually, well, his backstory. There was Friday the 13th, which shared the name only. Much like the Day of the Dead one. We have Chucky and Evil Dead had one. There is another one in there. So Chucky, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Day of the Dead. There's another one in there somewhere. But Chucky is probably the one right now that's the better of the two shows. That's basically about a continuation or inspired by a previous horror franchise or movie. If you're going to watch Day of the Dead, find yourself a copy of the Day of the Dead movie. I actually will be nice enough to put a link for it for Amazon for both Blu-ray and DVD if I can. For this, if you're gonna do not really watch the Day of the Dead 2, because again that's an unofficial sequel, such prequel, and not that good of a movie. It's crappy. I'll put the first link for the first remake because I did honestly like the first remake, and although one of the streaming services has it, I don't know, but it's Paramount Plus or Peacock. One of them has it. Maybe HBO Max, I'm not sure, but if you're going to watch one of the two remakes, watch that one. Don't watch the second one. If you're going to watch the show, watch it at your own caution, so own risk. But I almost forgot. Laura Cordell, Terry Alexander, and one of the other actors who were in this, bit of a spoiler, the three sole survivors, the actors who played them will be in an upcoming, like a Romero zombie type, not almost really to Romero, but it's like a zombie movie coming up. They're playing different characters, but they are back, which is really cool to see those three. Well, I guess I was saying it was like seeing them back together, like they hadn't missed a beat. But anyways, I am tired, and I have to upload a video to my gaming channel. I have a review to upload to this channel too, besides this video. The slasher thing, and an announcement about something that's going to be happening soon with this channel. So anyways, I am Echo Kiro. Would like to hear what your opinion is on the Day of the Dead, the movie, the TV show, the remakes, that unofficial sequel, taking a TV show and having to be a continuation or being inspired by a TV show. But anyways, I am Echo Kilo Zero, and I will see you on the flip side. And oh yeah, I hope you, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And oh yeah, ham's better than turkey. Fuck turkey. See you on the flip side.